Well, thanks again, everybody, for being here. Say this year, why don't we actually talk about logistics, because a lot of what we do at ITAD and in IT asset management to a significant extent is tied to managing logistics. Been in business for 20 years. We're R2D3 for electronics recycling. We're ISO 14001 for environmental management systems, 45001 for occupational health and safety, 9001 for quality management systems, 27001 now for internal information management, and then made AAA certified. Well, I say all that because we help our clients check their environmental and data security boxes, right? That's our big focus, is how do we help our clients meet those compliance obligations. So let's get into it. What we're looking to do today is we're going to talk about what the importance of logistics is within ITAM, really why it matters. We're going to talk about some key challenges that organizations will face when it comes to logistics, and then some final takeaways. Your organization, logistics and IT asset management is the process of tracking, transporting, storing, deploying, maintaining, and disposing of IT assets throughout their life cycle to ensure efficiency, security, compliance, and cost effectiveness. I just see more of an emphasis on data security regardless of what industry you're in, and more of an emphasis on compliance, especially on the data security and environmental side. That shows up in three kind of key examples. There's also a bunch of others, but there's HIPAA, right? Patient information, which within the HIPAA context can be something as basic as just a name and an email. And if that's identified relative to a health establishment, that's now considered PII, right? Personal information. That needs to be properly accounted for from a data security compliance standpoint. There's Sarbanes-Oxley relative to actual public institutions needing to be accountable for any sort of financial data, all the way through to disposition. So that needs to be documented and shown. If you have financial data, that the entire chain of custody all the way down to disposition is properly tracked, and you are accountable now to it under Sarbanes-Oxley, as well as GDPR, which is popular within Europe, obviously, and the standard there. And that also states that any sort of assets need to be securely transported to the point of disposition. Just kind of a quick graphic here, just showing, again, all these different parts of reverse logistics and logistics, asset inventory and tracking, chain of custody, disposition and recycling, secure transportation, storage, and warehousing. Right? And again, the emphasis here is consistently on the secure transport and on securely transporting that. Some common ITAM logistics pitfalls. This is a picture, a couple of gaylords, the FBI IT asset management facility located around DC. A really fascinating article that just came out a few months ago. Basically what happened is in August of 24, the Inspector General for Department of Justice, Michael Hurwitz, he had a report that outlined some concerns related to the way that the FBI was managing their IT asset and disposition practice. This IT asset management facility was handling the FBI's headquarters in DC and all their assets coming in there. They were also managing 36 field offices for the FBI, was sending in all their material into this field office, as well as some other agencies. The Bureau destroys devices in a priority order with top secret or high financial value assets receiving first priority, answering machines, shredders, and other bulky devices. Hard drives extracted from computers are in the lowest priority category. You literally cannot make this up. Hard drives, where all the data is actually stored, for the FBI, was the actual lowest priority category, which is this. This stuff was sitting in a warehouse, unsecured, for months and months at a time, with vendor access. Furthermore, staff confirmed not all hard drives, particularly hard drives extracted by local FBI field office IT specialists and shipped from field offices, are being handled in accordance with this best practice. Sometimes computers arrive without any internal hard drives, staff noticed, and it's unclear to asset management staff what was done with the drive. Finally, staff added that when the field offices send devices to the IT asset management facility, they don't always detail how many drives were sent. We talk about weak chain of custody, improper disposal leading to compliant risks, and high cost due to inefficiencies. Or this is a great example of common ITAM logistics pitfalls. Next, how about some best practices? This is something we put together for a client of ours, a secured tote with lid, which has some zip tie locks to it and also includes a GPS tracker. We have some clients where we want to ship a good amount of laptops back to us for processing. It's not that we don't have the ability to go there and pick this material up. So we came up with this solution, GPS capabilities, anything that we can continuously use technology to assist in tracking IT assets is obviously huge and extremely helpful when it comes to the logistics side of things and when it comes to the overall IT asset management side of things. Having an actual standardized policy, as I said, regions can sometimes operate differently. Also, departments can operate differently, right? Infrastructure, IT, servers, right? Data storage relative to desktop can be siloed many times in some larger organizations, and one side can be doing something completely different from the other side. The more that we can kind of integrate that, not to mention audiovisual equipment, security equipment, all sorts of other IT assets, the more that that can be a standardized, uniform process of accurately tracking that material, the better that we can account for it from a logistics perspective. This is one of our larger clients. This is a map of all the locations we did in the last year. A lot of these were part of acquisitions, so they were individual, unique pickups, which causes a whole set of plethora, like I was talking about before, logistical concern. Does the building need a certificate of insurance? Is there union labor needed to be done at that building as far as removal? That sometimes can be an issue. There's a whole host of issues. And you even sometimes have North Dakota location, and we got a South Dakota location, and you better make sure that if it's not a ton of assets, that you've got the right partner in the area, which we found, the right partner who can actually service the area. The more that you're able to be involved in doing these type of projects for clientele, the better network that you have, and the better you're able to take care of somebody in the Dakotas or in some other other region. First of all, some solutions that we provided, centralized e-waste management process. So this over here is a screenshot of our client portal. This is a schedule recovery request. So what we implement is our client can actually come in here and select which type of actual service they want. If it's a box program, they've got some different box program options, and they fill in their pickup details. Along with down here, we start talking about different devices. There's an ability to upload files, so pictures can be uploaded, all sorts of other information. The reason why this is great is because all this information is inputted into the ERP from the beginning. So then we automatically create an order, right? And we have an order number that's now created based on what the client has entered in. So we actually start that process, and that chain of custody starts right then and there. And instead of getting an email with like an Excel list, doing everything through here, through this ERP system, is really great for us and allows us to be able to have a record to start with right from the beginning. We now have clients that use our ERP client portal as their kind of record to be able to access and see what's going on with all their assets and what's happening all the way down to final disposition, reporting, and then that's all you use for the ESG metrics that we were talking about earlier. The outcomes, we created and utilized our vendor map. We really filled in our vendor map for the client, and we're able to really show between vendor partners, reverse logistics providers, and anything else that we can come up with as far as mail-back programs as well. We've really got a great solution that we can provide to the client at the end of the day. The outcome was 87.7% fewer miles traveled. And then one key aspect that we don't talk about too much, the services ended up being fully covered by our asset recovery marketing program. There's thousands of laptops coming to us. We get them in. We've got a great process to be able to remarket that. So we use that money, those funds, to offset all the costs of the program. There's really some really cool things relative to, on the automation side, real-time locational smart scanners, so actually getting devices in and being able to scan them and have it come into our system and integrate back with the client's software system is going to be a huge thing when it comes to automation. Automated compliance and documentation, I think we're going to see that with AI as well. All these things that are kind of manualized, so to speak, where the job's created and then something's sent out, I think we're going to start to see, especially with AI agents being integrated into this process, everything's going to start to become more and more automated. Lastly, some key takeaways. Hopefully you can, again, take some of this information back. I hope it's helpful. Logistics is essential for a successful ITAM program. Some best practices to improve efficiency, security, compliance, and then again, leveraging technology, in essence, asset tracking and disposition. I think the key takeaway is the more that you can track inventory at your location, the better off you will be moving forward. I hope we take off. Thanks, guys.